So let's look at different types of communication in terms of how people receive information, right? And there's three primary ones that I'm going to talk about on this flip chart. Please use them in terms of communicating with team, relationship, all of this, and specifically when we're talking about in sales and with customers, right? Start down the bottom. 7% of the message that we receive from people are the actual words that we say. So the actual script, if you like. Now, I am a big fan of scripting, right? Because I think there's many ways to say things, but there's often a very best way to say it. But the reality is, I have people in sales, they get stuck on, I just don't know what I'm going to say. Right? Who's ever said that in their life or ever had a moment where it's like, I don't know, what am I going to say to this person? How do I say it, right? All this. So the reality is it's only 7% of the time are the actual words. So that's the first one. Much, much larger part on it is 38%, that's the tonality. That's how you say the words, right? So think speed, volume, are you excited? All of these different things in how you go and do it, right? Like I could say the same words very differently and they'll have different essence. Like, I could say, hey, Bob, I'm really excited today. Or I could say, hey, Bob, I'm really excited today. Right? It's the same words, but do you get that there's a very, very different level of tone and it means something different? Like if I want to say something that is important, I will go slower and I'll say it more quietly. Because then that's the, same words, but it's how we're going to go and say those things. So it's actually the tonality that plays a lot bigger part, right? And the very last one, which I'm sure you all know, this is where the vast majority of it comes from, which is our body language. So how is it that we're actually being? How do we portray? What's the clothes that we're wearing? What's the facial expressions? All of those different things. The part often, have you heard the part around the word authenticity? Right, so if you think about this, I want to buy and transact and be in relationships and be around authentic people, right? That's what I want to experience in life. That's how I want to do life for me, is authentic people. Now, if you go, what is it that creates authenticity? What it actually is, authenticity is when all three of these actually line up. Right, when they're actually in congruency with each other. So I don't know if you've ever experienced it where it's like the parent who parents their child and says, I love you, and then clips them around the ear for being naughty, but I still love you, right? And it's like that kids get cross-wiring, like the words are saying one thing, but the body language is doing something very different, right? And this same type of thing can happen in business and sales, where if you might be saying some words, but if your body language doesn't portray it and receive it, and isn't in alignment with that, you're not authentic and it's not going to work. So I want to challenge you on this one to go, body language right here. I use this analogy a lot. Golfing terms, we can't see ourselves swing. You can't see your body language. So one of the greatest things to go and do is to do practice, right? Especially in and around sales, is to practice this. So have somebody else witness and watch you go and do whatever you do and give you some feedback on body language. And in terms of sales, what is practice called in sales? It's called role play, right? It's going and doing more and more role play. You can do it live or you can do role play. It still amazes me that elite sporting teams, they spend, if you look at practice and execution, what do they spend most of their time doing? Practice, right? They spend 90% of their time practicing and 10% executing. You go and chuck us into business, what do? 90 to 95% execution and only a tiny little bit of practice. Yet We want to play like the best sporting teams on the planet. So practice on this one is highly, highly valuable. So folks, hone in on body language and tonality. That's where the juice is in this one in terms of communication. Can make a massive difference looking at all the little fine details to help improve strike rate. All right, have fun with it.